but anyway. All right, so let's get started. I only got 2 homework questions to go over, so I'm checking to make sure the recording is still on. Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but anyway. Can I delete that? Nope. Well, anyway. All right, we are going, and I'm going to turn the enrollment off so I can see y'all better. And here we go. First question is 3.4, 29/14. 3.4, 29/14. And it is a test question because it says find derivatives of products and quotient. So this is a test question. And this is probably what's going to make up 70% of your test. Okay. Now, it says find the derivative of the following function. Now, right now, you don't know how to do the chain rule. So you can't do 3t minus 6 to the negative 1. Okay. So you're going to have to do something to make that 1 a positive. And what is that? Somebody tell me.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd turn that on. There we go. I'll blow it up a little bit for you. What are we going to do to make that negative 1 go away?
Move it to the denominator.
Move it to the denominator. Good job. So I'm going to start this question. I'm going to write it first for you. Y is equal to 2t minus 1 times 3t minus 6 to the negative 1. Now, like I said before, you don't know the chain rule. You haven't done the chain rule yet. And technically, unless you've had pre-calculus or calculus, you don't know what the chain rule is. So with that being said, you can't do, see if I can get this a little bit clearer. There we go. And there we go. So I'm going to rewrite this, since I don't know how to do the chain rule here. I'm going to rewrite it as y is equal to 2t minus 1 over 3t minus 6. And now you got the quotient rule. So the quotient rule, and just to remind you about the product rule, first of all, the power rule of calculus says that if I have a to the n power, to take the derivative of a to the n, I bring n out front, multiply it by a, and raise the n minus 1 power. Okay, that's the power rule. The product rule is first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. That's the product rule. And the quotient rule denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over denominator squared. Okay, so those are the 3 rules. What about the constant rule? Well, the constant rule is the power rule. You just got to put your variable to the 0 power, and it takes out the. So I'm not going to show you the constant rule because if you did the way I showed you to do it, you see that the constant cancels out. All right, so here we go. Y prime, we're going to use the quotient rule. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over the denominator squared. There's the setup. Now we're going to actually do it. Y prime is equal to 3t minus 6. And what is the denominator? I'm sorry. What is the derivative of 2t minus 1?
2.
2.
Minus. And I would ask y'all, why am I making that red? But by now, y'all should know why. And that's going to be 2t minus 1. And what is the derivative of 3t minus 6?
3.
3. Okay, is the calculus done and now all algebra, or do we have any algebra any more calculus to do?
Algebra.
It's all algebra. Do you really care about the bottom? Not really. Your focus is the numerator. And if you can cancel out something later with the denominator, that's fine, but that's not your priority. Your priority is not the denominator. Your priority is the numerator. So get to work on it. Use that algebra that y'all are so good at. Miss Brown, are you concentrating?
Yes.
Okay, you look like you were really into it. I'm giving y'all a second to do the algebra, kind of make you feel good about yourself. And if you have a question, just spit it out. That's a good picture of your hat and your ceiling, Mr. Hull. Mr. Perry's ceiling and ceiling fan. Miss Gonzalez's ceiling fan and corner of her room. Side window, Miss Qualls. Oh, but that's a beautiful, I think the most beautiful ceiling is Mr. Bridges. I think he's got the most, Mr. Sullivan's ceiling has a vent. But then you got Miss Jones' forehead and wall. So I tell you, y'all got some beautiful homes. I always love to look at the ceilings and the vents and the top of the foreheads. Love that. Gotta love it. Gotta laugh about it. There's nothing else you can do. All right, so I'm going to distribute that 2. And I'm going to put that 3 right here and make that a -3. I'm going to mark it out and put it right there. and distribute that -3 here and here. So I'm going to get 2 times 3t is 6t minus 12 minus 6t plus 3 over 3t minus 6 squared. And oh, look, the 6t's cancel. And that leaves you with -9. Y'all check my math. -9 over 3t minus 6 quantity squared. Now, you could do shortcut number 2 here and get 9t squared minus 36t plus 36. And you can factor out a 9 and cancel the 9s. I don't know if they want you to go that far, but you're going to get -1 over, let's see, 9t squared is going to be 9. I'm going to take that 9 out. That's going to be t squared. And then 36, let's see, wait a minute, 18 and 18 is 36, right? So that'd be 4t. So that'd be minus 4t plus 4. I don't know. Y'all check my answer. I don't know if that algebra is correct. I did it in my head. Can somebody check it for me? Somebody that's paying attention. I appreciate it. I'll just type it in and see. I wouldn't want y'all to break your code of silence. I don't want the weenie people to get mad at you. You know, the weaned on a pickle, they're the weenie people. -1 over t squared. I doubt they want you to go this far. T squared minus 4t plus 4. Did y'all check my algebra?
Yes.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they do want you to go that far. Mr. Pagella, where'd you come from? You just decided to join us?
No, I've been here.
You've been here and you've just been quiet. Now, if you want to, you can just angle your camera to the wall or to the ceiling if you want to, because that's what the end thing is with the weenie crowd.
I mean, if you want me to, I'll do it.
No, I mean, I just want you to be, I want you to feel a part, you know. And if you want to be part of the weenie crowd.
No, I'm a sausage. I'm not a weenie.
Okay, we're going to leave that one alone. Y'all remember that movie that came out a while back, that animated movie called Sausage Party? Y'all remember that? Well, that was dumb as dirt.
Oh, yeah, that was a well-flying movie.
That was dumb as dirt. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so that's your answer. Is that a test question? Yes. You will receive 5,276 of these questions on your test. Okay?
Are you going to want us to go from like 9 over 3t minus 6 squared to like that answer right there?
Yeah, if they're doing that, yes. Because I get my questions from the homework. So if they're doing it on the homework, you're going to have to do it on the test. All right, this is 3.471/24. 3.4 71/24. And I'm going to go over a couple of more quotient rules, and because I have had a couple of people tell me that it's been so long since we went over the quotient power rule, the quotient product rule, that they've kind of forgotten it and would like to go over it again. So that's kind of why I'm going over these, and I'll go over a couple of more. All right. Oh my gosh, they want the first derivative, the second derivative, and the third derivative. Now that's what that means for those people that have never had calculus before. When you see a double prime and a triple prime, that means they want the first, second, and third derivative. So we'll put that in red on my sheet while y'all are writing that down. F prime of x is for the first derivative. F double prime of x is the second derivative. And F triple prime of x is the third derivative. Now, why in the world would you want the first and second derivative? Well, it depends on what career you go into. If you go into engineering and sciences, the first and second derivative is acceleration and velocity. If you go into business, the first and second derivative not only shows you the increasing and decreasing of an economic curve, but it will also show you the inflection points with the second derivative. So it depends on which route you go. So let's write this one down. This one says 4x squared, f of x is equal to 4x squared times negative 3x to the negative third. I don't know why they write crap like this. Negative 3x to the negative third plus a. Until the last couple of years, I've been teaching for 25 years plus, and I have never seen these books write these like this. I don't understand this. I really don't. But maybe it's some of that new math that some of y'all are learning. I have never seen books write a term like this. Some damn Russians is what it is. So you got to use, now, can you use the product rule? Yes. Can you use algebra? Yes. You can do whichever one you want to do first. That's fine. I'm going to do both. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll do the algebra first. So distribute algebra first. Okay, so we're going to do algebra first. So 4, that's a negative 12. What is negative 3 plus 2? Negative 1, Hubert. Plus 32x squared. Okay. And that's f of x. So f prime of x is equal to negative 1 times negative 12. X to the negative 1 minus 1 plus 2. Wait a minute. That should be x squared. There we go. 2 times 32. X to the 2 minus 1. And f prime of x is equal to 12. X to the negative 2 plus 64. X to the 1. That's your first derivative. The second derivative is equal to negative 2 times 12. X to the negative 2 minus 1. What? Somebody said something. Does somebody have a question? Okay, y'all not going to talk to me anyway. Weenie power. 1 times 2 1 times 64 x to the 1 minus 1. So f double prime of x is equal to negative 24 x to the negative 3 plus 64 x to the what? 0. And that's 1. So f double prime is equal to that. So f triple prime is going to be negative 3 times negative 24 x to the negative 3 minus 1. And what's the derivative of any number?
0.
Plus 0. And f triple prime of x is equal to 72, somebody check my math, x to the negative
right.
4. Now, is this a test question? Oh, hell to the yeah. I'll put 2 or 3 on these on the test just for the science people. So let's type our answers in. I'm not typing all that in. I'm just going to type in 3. And 64 minus 24, let's see. 64 minus 24x to the negative 3rd. And the last one, (72x to the negative 4th). 72x to the negative 4th. So we're good to go. Now they wrote the first one in fractional form, and you can have my answer or you can have that one. 12x to the negative 2 over, yeah, they got a common denominator of x squared. So I'll take either answer on that one. Question, great, complaint. Now that's doing the algebra first. What if I did the calculus first? Well, I'll do the calculus first for the first couple. Okay, doing the calculus first. F of x is equal to 4x squared times negative 3x to the negative 3rd plus 8. The product rule says first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. This is your first, this is your second. So f prime of x is equal to first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So f prime of x, distribute this, excuse me, that's going to be negative 12, excuse me, 2 minus 3 is negative 1, plus 32 x squared. Oh, I didn't take the derivative. Oh, shoot. Let me just skip that. F prime of x is equal to 4x squared And what is the derivative of this mess? Well, the 8 is going to go away because that's a 0. Derivative of 8 is 0, so you just need to focus on this. It's going to be 3x to the negative 4, isn't it? 3 times 3x to the negative 4th, which is 9x to the negative 4th, if somebody will check me. Plus the second times the derivative of the first. And the derivative of the first is 8x. Now you can put it all together. Four times 9, excuse me, 4 times 9 is 36. X to the second times x to the negative 4th is x to the negative 2. Be a minus 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times a negative is negative. And x to the first, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Plus 64x. And what is 36x minus 24x? $12, Hubert. Thank you, class. I appreciate y'all's cooperation and communication. Negative 2 plus 64x. And of course, you know how to do the derivative of those. And I'm just going to stop there. Isaac, you awful quiet today.
I'm really tired today. I've just been doing the work.
I hear you.
I woke up bad this morning and then I went and I think I tore something working out this morning.
Uh-oh. That can happen. All right. So everybody good with these? All right. Now let's go into the homework and let's see if there's some more questions. And I want to do homework for the next 15 or 20 minutes. And then I want to show you a little bit of the chain rule. So let's go to the homework. And pull up the homework in this class. Well, oh, well, by 140. Now, I didn't yawn a single time in my last class, and I've yawned like 7 times in this class. What is it? What's making me yawn? It could be y'all just overcoming, just y'all are just so outgoing and so interactive. Maybe that's it. I'll just have a lemon and water,
lunchtime.
please. What?
It's lunchtime.
The weenie generation. Waiting on a pickle. Where's the homework? And this is 3.3, isn't it?
I believe so.
Thank you. Tell you what, you can't do anything without communication. Let's see, 3.3. All right, try that one. Now you can do it both ways. We'll do both ways if you want to. Use the algebra first and then do the calculus, or use the calculus first and then do the algebra. Either way, you're going to do the algebra and you're going to find out if you're good at it or still suck at it. Ms. Qualls, please settle down. You're distracting everybody. Mr. Pagella, do you live at the Pendleton campus?
Pretty much.
Is everybody still wearing masks around there?
Nah, we're mask free.
Oh, me. Shut up, Hubert. Shut up. Just keep teaching. Don't say nothing. Fauci. Super Fauci. Dumbass. Sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
No, keep it going.
No, I'm not going to say a word. Mr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci is God. So if Dr. Fauci tells me to put tinfoil on my head, I will put tinfoil on my head because I am programmed. F of x is equal to 6x plus 7 times 5x squared plus 2. And yes, this is a test question. So you can do the algebra first. Maybe I could, well, I'll just do the algebra first. Using your FOIL method. First is 30x to the third. Outside. I have to say outside because people don't know what outer means. So I have to say outside. So outside is 12x. Inside is 35x squared. And last, 7 times 2 is 14. Outside, inside, Clemson. $30x cubed plus 35x squared plus 12x plus 14. And that's f of x. Now, f prime of x is equal to 3 times 30 x to the 3 minus 1 plus 2 times 35 x to the 2 minus 1 plus 1 times 12 x to the 1 minus 1 plus 0 times 14 x to the 0 minus 1. And f prime of x is equal to 90x squared plus 70x plus 12. And that is your first derivative.
You wrote 9 instead of 90.
I did. Thank you. Appreciate that communication. You know the rest of the Weenie Patrol are going to be mad at you. And just so y'all know, the Weenie Patrol stands for Weaned on a Pickle Patrol. All right, now I want you to do the product rule. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to write f of x is equal to 6x plus 7 times 5x squared plus 2. All right, do the product rule, and I'll give you 2 minutes. We'll put you on a timer. And if you can't do it in 2 minutes, we all know what that means. What does that mean?
We're a failure.
There you go.
What failure?
Spoken like true failures. You know, I actually had somebody complain about me calling class. I mean, these people, they need to take some medication or something. I ain't kidding you. Yes, he called us losers. It's called a sense of humor, people. Grow one.
Priority 1.
So, first, f prime of x. First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So now we're going to drop down a line and rewrite. First times the derivative of the second. The derivative of 5x squared is what?
5.
5.
10x. My bad.
Mr. Pagel, you're a disappointment. Just be quiet. What is it?
10x.
10x.
10 what?
X.
10x. Plus 5x squared plus 2. And what is the derivative of 6x plus 7?
6.
All right. Now you've done your calculus. Now it's time for algebra. Finish it out. People don't fail calculus because of calculus. People fail calculus because of algebra. And the teacher sucks.
Math isn't really something you can teach, though. Isn't it more of something like you practice?
How dare you use that word? Don't you ever use that word in class. How dare you say the word practice? That would mean that if you work extra hard, the outcome will come out much more improved. Well, that goes against everything, man. Don't say that. Yeah, that's all about capitalism, Mr. Pagella. Why in the Hades would you want to encourage capitalism?
Because you make more money with capital.
Oh, no. No. You don't want to do that, Mr. Pagella. You work hard and get an A average, get a 97 average, you want to give your 7 points to Miss Brown. Because Miss Brown, she's got an 83. So you can give her your 7 points that you worked hard for.
I don't mind sharing sometimes, but you know.
Sharing is when it comes to candy. Money and sharing does not go together. Unless you have it to burn. Now, if you've got it to burn, then yes, you share it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of, give me a Hollywood star that shares their millions with the public. I'll tell you what, give me a sports star that shares their millions. I'm not talking about every 6 months giving their money to the boys club. I'm talking about their tens of millions of dollars giving millions away to the public. I'm waiting.
Maybe Kobe Bryant before he died, but I can't think of anybody else.
I can't think of anybody that just gives their money. California, he played for LA, right?
Yeah.
Who has the highest homeless population in the nation?
California.
Who has the most celebrities in the United States?
California.
Evidently, they're not giving their money away. F prime of X. But they got their walls around their houses and their fences around their houses. All right, so 10 times 6, that's 60 x squared plus 70 x plus 30 x squared plus 12. Y'all check me. And it looks like that's the answer, except for it'd be 90. So f prime of x is equal to 90 x squared plus 70x plus 12. Oh my gosh.
Priority 1 message.
Y'all want to see something? Look at there. It's the same answer. It's a miracle.
I have a question.
No, I'm off the clock. Go ahead.
Shouldn't the 2 disappear from the 90x squared?
I'm sorry, what?
When you times 2 times 60, shouldn't the 2 go away from the 90x squared? Or no?
Are you talking about this one or this one? Which one?
Yeah, that one.
This one? 60 plus 30 is 90.
Oh, fuck.
So what are you talking about, Mr. Bickett?
Like, you know how when you have a power, you do 2 minus 1. So, like, I would think
That's up here.
Oh, you don't keep doing
Yeah,
it?
we've done the calculus. Here's the calculus right here. The actual calculus is right in here. We're done with the calculus after this step.
Okay.
You're trying to start calculus again, aren't you? Yeah, you don't start it again. You just, after you've done it right here, you're done. Technically, this is algebra. So the actual calculus is right here. There's the actual calculus. Does that help with your question, Mr. Bickett?
Yeah.
I don't believe I have your video on, Mr. Bickett. Or I can't see it. I was just looking. Okay, question, gripe, complaint. There you are. All right, so let's do a nerd. I'm going to do one more quotient rule before I get to the, and I got to hurry. I want to get to the chain rule. Let me see if I can find a quotient rule right quick. There's one. Now, you can do this one by algebra first, then do the quotient rule or calculus, or you can do the quotient rule and then do algebra. Do both. I'm going to have to hurry, so I'm going to give y'all a chance to write it down right quick. F of W is equal to 9W minus 2W over 5W. W is one of those letters that you can't say. You have to say it respectively, because if you say it non-respectively, they think you're an ignorant Southerner. So you can't say it like most people say it. You have to say W. www dot. Clemson.
You have a work email.
Oh my gosh, they fired me. Okay, so this problem we can do the algebra first, and that's going to give us f of w equals, well, you can cancel the w with this and the w with this, or you can factor out. I'm just going to factor out a w to the third power. W to the third power. And that leaves you with 9w squared minus 2 over w cubed. And what happens to the w cubes? They cancel. And you're left with f of w is equal to 9w minus 2. And the derivative f prime of w f prime of w is equal to 2 times 9w to the 2 minus 1 minus 2 times 0 to the w 0 minus 1.
I have a quick question.
That is a, yes, what's your question?
What happened to the 5 in the denominator?
It just disappeared, Mr. Nicolini. It just, I don't know who's trying to call me, but I've got class. Okay. It just disappeared. I'm sorry to say that it just disappeared. There it is, right there. Thank you, Mr. Nicolini.
Yes, sir.
Now we got to do the quotient rule. But anyway, thank you. So f prime of w is equal to denominator times numerator prime that'd be 9w squared minus 2 prime minus, now there's a good thing about this. What happens to the, well, I'm going to just write it out and you'll see, times the numerator 9w minus 2 times the denominator prime over denominator squared. And what happens to this whole term right here?
It cancels
Why? Why does this whole term cancel?
because you're subtracting it from
Because
Oh.
5 prime is what?
0.
So there's your answer. The 5 will cancel here. So you should be left with, and we'll check it with the calculus, 9w squared minus 2 over 5. I need to hurry because I want to get through in just a second. All right, so here we're going to do the calculus. First, denominator times numerator prime, 9w to the 5th minus 2w cubed prime minus brackets 9w to the 5th minus 2w cubed times the 5w third prime over denominator squared. Okay, so that's going to be 5w to the cube. And what is the derivative of 9w to the 5th? 45w to the what? 4th. And 6w squared minus 9w to the 5th minus 2w cubed. And what is the derivative of 5w to the third power?
Work email.
It's 15w squared.
All that over 25w to the 5th. Now it's all algebra. So 5 times 45 is dang old 225. Somebody help me out there. W to the 7th minus 30 W to the 5th. Did somebody check my 5 times 45?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And minus 15W squared times 9W to the 5th minus 2W to the 3rd. I just rewrote that because I got to distribute that 15 with those. And that's going to be 225W to the 7th minus 30W to the 5th. Okay, 135. Somebody check my math. Negative 135W to the 7th plus 30W to the 5th over 25W to the 5th. What is 225 minus 135? Somebody help me out.
90.
Is it 90? W to the 7th. And the 30s cancel, don't they? Oh gosh, we got something wrong. We're not coming out with the same answer. We dropped something somewhere up here. Over 25W to the 5th. And we've got a constant. So we dropped something up here. Cause I don't know, there's the square. 7 minus 5 is the square, so that's that. We got something wrong here somewhere, y'all. Well, I was cramped up. I hope I didn't. Y'all look and see. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime all over denominator squared. 5w squared, and the derivative of this is 45w to the fourth, 6w squared, 9w minus 2w, and that's 15w squared. Whoa, wait a minute. I see it. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 terms, and that 15w shouldn't cancel out. I've got a sign wrong somewhere. There's got to be a sign. Somebody speak up if you see it. Either this is wrong or this is wrong. One of the two.
I
Let's see
think
what.
one of the left might be wrong, but I'm not sure.
Let's see what the answer is. I think the first one is correct. Uh, 18. No, the first one is not correct. Go back.
That's what I got.
Well, now you speak up. All right, so evidently the second one is correct. Somebody see, I believe the second one I got is correct or close to it. What is 90 divided by 25? Isn't that 18/5?
It is.
Okay, but I got a power wrong.
That 25w to the fifth should be 25w to the sixth.
Thank you. 2 times 3 is 6. Yep, thank you. That's what happens when you go get in a hurry. Okay, well, we know this one is, we got an error here somewhere. So, let's see. W, that'd be 2, 9w, w to the thirds cancel. This is w to the first power.
You have a work email.
No, that's w to the 0. 5, 9w. Well, I've got an error here somewhere. I want to go ahead and jump over to chain rule right quick. Chain rule. And the reason I want to is because I know there's some people in here that have had the chain rule before and I want to get you started on that homework. Chain rule. The chain rule is the power rule plus one more step, taking the derivative of what's inside. Now, you're going to hear that in other calculus classes. If you go into Calc 2 and Calc 3, you're going to hear a teacher, unless they're weird or something, they're going to say, and we do the chain rule, and remember the chain rule, you got to take the derivative of what's inside. That's what they're going to say. Okay? So get used to that, unless you have some, person that doesn't do what they were taught and they do everything modernized. That is a common term with the chain rule. You got to do the derivative of not only what you got, but what's inside. What's inside what? Usually, what's inside parentheses. What's inside those parentheses? Let me give you an example. 2f of x is equal to 2 times x minus 3 to the 4th power. Now, the only way to do this is to take, right now, because you don't know the chain rule, the only way to do this is to go 2 times x minus 3 squared times x minus 3 squared, and do the product rule 2 or 3 times, or do shortcut number 3 or number 2 twice, and then do the algebra. So we don't want to do all that. So they came up with the chain rule. Now here's what the chain rule says. Power rule. Bring this out front. So we've got f prime of x is equal to 4 times 2 times x minus 3 to the 4 minus 1. Does everybody see the power rule here? Does everybody see that? You bring the 4 out front, x minus 3, and then minus 1. Does everybody see that? Those of you that are paying attention and not talking to somebody else. Okay? Everybody? All right, so I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight this. And I'm going to color that yellow because that is the power rule. Now, anybody see any parentheses? Yeah, there's parentheses right here, Hubert. So I've got to multiply by what's inside those parentheses. I got to take the derivative of what's inside those parentheses. So what is the derivative of x minus 3?
1.
1. Now, 1 is the multiplicative identity, so it's not going to change anything. But what if this was 3x minus 3? That would be a 3. We're going to do one here in just a second. So your final answer is 1 times 4 times 2, x minus 3 to the 3rd power, 8 times x minus 3 to the 3rd power. Okay, now that's an easy, because that's 1. Now I'm going to do it, and this is not going to be 1. I'm leaving it up for a few more seconds. So here is an example. F of x is equal to, let's go with 1/2 2x squared minus 4 to the 5th power. Okay, so we're going to use the power rule. Give everybody a second to finish writing it. You're going to use the power rule. 5 times 1/2 2x squared minus 4 to the 5 minus 1. And what's inside those parentheses?
Yeah.
2x squared minus 4, Hubert. And what is the derivative of 2x squared minus 4?
4x.
And that's the extra part for the chain rule. So now we just multiply it all together. 4x times 5 times 1/2 times 2x squared minus 4 to the 4th power. And 20x over 2 times 2x squared minus 4, and 10x times 2x squared minus 4 to the 4th power. And that's how you do the chain rule. Now, there's some other applications, and we're going to get into that, but not right now. But that's the gist of the chain rule. The gist of the chain rule is right there. You got to multiply the power rule by what's inside the parentheses derivative.
Priority 1 message coming in on secure
And
channel.
let me tell you, if you've ever seen the chain rule written mathematically, it will lobotomize you. Notice I didn't show you what the chain rule looked like. Did y'all notice that? Why? I'll show you why.
Because it's probably going to be twice as more complicated.
The chain rule. Chain rule definition. And images. There's part of the chain rule right here. There's part of the chain rule. There's part of the chain rule. If I started you with this, half of you would be lobotomized. All right, you're welcome. So let me take the roll right quick because some of y'all are convulsing already.